Yeah.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3 match. Today we got you on the left side, FROMPS time, represented with So and Scarlet. Against your right side, Ganon is Sus, the blue Crayon, and Nathicana. I'm Spyweaver. I'm joined up here in the booth today by Old Man Sunshine. How are we doing today?
Oh, doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Just getting ready for what I hope is going to be a great matchup here today. Week 1 co-op info share all dungeons. That can make for some interesting dynamics here as we watch this both on the left and right side today, can it?
Yeah, I really like the co-op info share. It helps, especially with all dungeons, it helps divide things up and make things a bit easier for these racers.
That is true. It also comes down to deciding, between yourself and your partner, who's going to do what and when. And sometimes if there's just a terrible out-of-the-way check, somebody just has to go do it at that time, because otherwise you're both doing the same thing. That usually doesn't work out too well in co-op.
Slightly suboptimal.
Exactly. Sometimes it's just not fun, like going into Mire without the cane, but as we've kind of seen in a few of the matches this week, sometimes that usually works out.
Yeah. We'll see how many of those we'll run into today. FROMPS is one up on Ganon is sus. They had a match earlier, and FROMPS took that one. So we will see if Ganon can come from behind and win.
Definitely. And how the winners are determined in the co-op seeds, it's the average of the two runners on the same team's time. And whichever team has the highest, or the lowest, I should say, average time, they're your victors.
Getting started in Sanctuary. Looks like we only have a map there, so no joy to be found.
A quick map check there. It looks like we got red crystals on Eastern and Desert, and I believe that was a green pendant I saw up in Tower of Hera.
All the fun in the light world today. Racer's busy starting off and getting some materials together. Looks like Nathicana and So are both going for the Houlihan. What do you call it? Houlihan room, which has 225 rupees, which is a good start, especially for Zora money.
Yep, something else that you usually see more often, I should say, in the co-op modes is a runner that decides to go to Houlihan, and as you can see, they come out of a Link's house there, and then usually teams decide, or let the runner, I should say, that does the Houlihan decide if you go north, south, or east.
Was that Ether in Link's house, or was that found elsewhere?
That did look to be Ether there in Link's house.
I also missed Lumberjack Ledge. I'm still getting set up here.
Yeah, that one, I believe, if I recall right, was just the red boomerang, so I don't think we'll be seeing anyone go grab that today.
I believe you mean best boomerang?
Always depends on who you seem to ask.
Find it useful for exactly 2 rooms in Ganon's tower, and that's about it.
Pretty much. The uncle giving us his life savings today. 300 rupees right there.
What does he need it for?
Absolutely nothing anymore. It just gives Nathicana the rupees needed for Zora money. It looks like we are going over to Eastern Palace area for that one. Well, Scarlet down in Blind's hut finds our boots and a shield.
Love those boots. And with co-op, they will be letting their partners know very quickly where those boots are.
Definitely being this early on with those boots, that's not something you're going to leave behind. Your partner might make a beeline right over there after getting their initial checks out of the way, just to get that extra little boost for the rest of the seed.
Definitely. You don't want to fall behind with that. So far, the item pool is kind of lacking. Except for the mirror, which we just found in the well.
So as you say that, something's going to show up.
I mean, commentator's curse. You know how it works.
Or blessing in this case? I'm not sure.
Either way.
It's definitely an item you won't say no to.
Got So doing the Agana check. Just a big heart. Useful in early game, though.
That brings up another point there of co-op as well. Usually you don't see your runners on too many hearts as you normally would. For the main fact of we're skipping chests once our partner gets there. So if it's a piece of heart, we're probably not picking all those up.
Right. Every chest you skip is a little extra time you get to finish.
Looks like both of our runners from Ganon and Sus are in Kakariko right now doing opposite checks. And so is following Scarlet right back into the top of Kakariko to get those boots that we were talking about.
Looks like Scarlet's heading right into the rice game. I like employing this method sometimes. Since you're making the trip anyway, you may as well just go ahead and run the race.
Yeah, worse it costs you 9-10 seconds maybe.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But at
Did
best
not
you
pay
pick
off.
up 15.
Did not pay off this time. So we're probably heading for South Shore next. Actually, thinking of splitting duties, there'll be some will go to South Shore and some will go to the eastern side of Hyrule.
Looks like that's what we're seeing on Ganon is Sus. We got Nath going to the South Shore, Blue Crayon going over to Eastern, and looks like Scarlet is making their way up towards the Hyrule Castle area.
That is true. Escape would be another option, given that we are in open mode, where escape is optional at the beginning, but you probably want to check it anyway.
Oof, and looks like we're getting 1.5 fetch quests from Sasha today. A bottle and a shovel.
Surprised we didn't get a stick to fetch as well. So with the good use of the bombs in Mini Moldorm, well done. Got a Cane of Verna. And that's it. Big spot. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Crayon was taking that shovel on over and just gets us a couple of bombs from that dig spot today, so that shovel isn't needed.
Scarlet giving us our first view of the front of Escape. Ice bombs. So heading up for the Ice Rod Cave, which is a good check to route in as soon as you can.
I think Nath heading that way as well. Forgetting doesn't have a sword and bonking in one of those bushes.
I mean, you got boots. You should be able to just run right through it, right?
You would think, but I mean, I guess those are bushes of steel until you get a sword.
Bushes of steel. Meanwhile, so setting up the water walk glitch and does very nicely. Set that up while running out of Ice Rod Cave.
And speaking of Ice Rod Cave, Scarlet finds the Ice Rod itself down there in the front of Escape.
That's good for our racers. They won't have to go on an Ice Rod hunt. And we just found a pointy object behind the waterfall, our first sword. That is technically out of logic. It's behind flippers.
I'm technically out of logic, but I don't think that'll be stopping too many of our runners from getting that today.
No, the higher level runner you are, the more likely you are to break logic.
Yeah.
Blue Crayon taking a death on the way over to Eastern Palace. With boots in hand, though, or boots on feet, I should say, that will be a quick fix.
Short little dash back over there and be right back to Eastern Palace in no time.
Look at that frog move. We got a frog, a dog, I believe a witch, and let's see. I'm not sure which sprite that is.
Just call it a scientist or a
Looks
doctor
like
since
it, yeah.
It's got the glasses and the overcoat?
That's what I see.
Works for me.
I love the sheer number of sprites that you can use. I naturally use the old man sprite.
I wouldn't have been able to guess that one.
Getting our first look at Eastern.
Crayon and Eastern Nath picking up that ice rod from front of Escape. Looks like that's where So is headed to go to the front of Escape to grab that ice rod as well. Meanwhile, Scarlet heading over to Eastern as well.
In fact, I'm having trouble thinking of anything else left to do except Eastern.
In logic, I believe that's mostly what we have left.
Even the sword, which is out of logic, doesn't really do much.
Not at this point. Just makes dashing a little bit nicer, and never gonna say no to that one.
A flute. A flute is in Eastern.
All right. Well, I believe that'll give us mountain access there, but only a few checks.
Combined with the mirror, yeah. But I do like the. I mean, in this situation with co-op, it's best to keep going and finish the dungeon or get as many items as possible. If you're solo racing, you might be tempted to just go ahead and leave Eastern at that point, but you would have missed the hammer.
That's a bit more up the mountain. We're getting the Death Mountain care package in here today.
We are. Just need a hook shot and we're good to go. We don't actually need the hook shot. It's just a nice to have at this point.
It'd be just one less thing to search for later on.
Got some dark room action in our top racers. One is in Dark Cross and the other one is in Eastern. So being the one in Dark Cross at the castle.
Showing how nice those swords make things, especially when you're in dark rooms like that. Gives you a little bit of a homing beacon, I guess you could say, of where exactly you're at. Oh, Crayon's made it all the way over to the Vanilla Big Key location in Eastern to find what else but a Vanilla Big Key.
Really tricky getting that button with only 4 hearts. But did a good job of it.
Definitely not as easy as Crayon made it look there.
And just finds the compass in that big chest.
Alright, so if I remember how to count, I believe that leaves 1 item on Armos Knights.
That, I believe, is correct. Looks like So is having a little bit of difficulty with the Dark Cross, which I would have a lot of difficulty with this.
Yeah, the chest is kind of in a random location, kind of hard to find. We've made it through,
maybe you did
the
get
back.
I might have been completely mistaken there.
Kind of lost track of what room we were in up there. And we find a fire rod in the back.
Very nice.
That's going to be a nice fire source for the trip up to Hera.
So I would bet money So is going to head straight for Eastern to grab the flute and hammer and just start running.
Yep, and then the big question becomes, is Scarlet going to follow, or is Scarlet going to go up the mountain, since technically, without a glove or a lamp, that fire rod is out of logic right now.
Good point. Imagine logic that says you must go up to Hera, get one of those items, then go get the fire rod, then go back to Hera.
Wouldn't be the first time I've seen something like that.
No, it wouldn't. And even worse, it's the green pendant, so what if the next progression is on Sahasrara?
I am legitimately blaming you if this one happens.
Strangely, it wouldn't be the first race I've commed in this league that had, let's say, green pendant at Hera with an item in it.
Yeah, whenever Hera's green pendant, it always seems to have something on the green pendant, it seems.
Oh, it looks like So picked up a second sword, which Chad is pointing out was probably in Dark Cross.
Well, I would say since we didn't really see it, that'd probably be my best guess.
That seems right. Yes. Oh, there's a glove on Spectacle Rock.
Well, that fire rod's now in logic, so as you were saying...
Pretty much. Not quite Hera, but close enough.
It's right next door.
Once So gets up there, they're going to feel real good about having gotten that fire rod.
So, next question is Hera fire locked?
The paranoid part of me says the way the items are lining up, very much so.
That's kind of what I was feeling. And there's bombs in the first check. Oh boy.
Wait for it. Oh,
Ooh.
It's a big key. Perhaps they will be let off the hook in this case.
Unless that's just a red herring saying, you know, go up to Moldorm, get your small key, and then go down and get your last item.
So now do I get to blame you if it happens?
I suppose.
Nathicana taking a death there. Nathicana. Sorry, I mispronounced it.
Alright, a whole lot of dark action going off on the left. And that is a French vanilla moon pearl. Look at that one. We don't have to go to the basement either for that.
Very true. So that fire rod is still sitting there without any item behind it yet. So that could point to either Ice Palace or Skull Woods, I believe.
Or anything that'd be Skull Woods, because with that moon pearl, that's actually Dark World access there.
It is. Blue Crayon, I'm going to get the green pendant and probably turn it in immediately to see if it's progression. It's a quick dash from Link's house to turn that in.
A few dances with Moldorm, a few hammer hits later, and down it goes. That is the first dungeon completed for the right-hand side.
Did we miss a sword on the Old Man of the Mountain? We may have.
That might have been the second sword. The first sword we know was sitting in the Waterfall Ferry, so that one's technically out of logic still at this point.
So that actually could be the third sword if that's correct. We'll see if we can get a confirmation on that.
Ooh, and Scarlet taking an overworld death there as well, trying to cross the bridge at the top of Death Mountain.
Fortunately, well, I was going to say fortunately, not too big of a delay, but it is a bit of a delay because they have to go through the Dark World to get there.
Yeah, so far we have to take the long route up there, but yeah, they don't call it Death Mountain for no reason.
You get a bee in the bottle from Spiral Cave.
Like Nathicana with that flute in hand now is heading back over towards Ice Rod Cave. And
Setting up for
some
Water
Water
Walk.
Walk. Yep. That makes a whole lot of sense here at this point, since we do have access to that glove that does also put Zora within logic for us as well.
So also rescuing me from the mountain. Although those dead rocks have other ideas.
Quite a few other ideas, it looks like.
That they're really giving him a hard time. Yep, there is a sword on that old man.
So that is an early tempered sword.
Swords handing out, or old man handing out swords on a mountain is no basis for progression, I should say. It's a Monty Python quote. Don't tell anyone.
And looks like Nath actually bonked over there in the bottom right doing some water walking, and unfortunately he's going to have to S and Q out of a soft lock there.
Oh, yeah. I did that just today earlier. We got pendants at Mire and Swamp.
With that in mind, we have knowledge of all of our goodies today, as far as what we'll be getting from the dungeon prizes.
So making their way towards the Moon Pearl up in Hera. I missed the main Chamber of Paradox cave. I didn't see if any items came up.
I think in the Paradox 2 there was only a full heart container, and I believe in 5 I don't think there was anything. If I recall.
Yeah, the truckers aren't showing anything new, so I'm guessing there was nothing there.
Paradox Cave has been seemingly very empty as of late.
Is that a paradox?
I think we're getting to that point. Alright, well, we do have knowledge of 3 swords. It looks like over on the top right blue crayon without any one of those swords will be our first runner into the Dark World here, I guess I should say, where you can do stuff in the Dark World with the Moon Pearl. 20 minutes on in.
No sword, wow. Hammer Moth would not be fun.
Is hammer anything ever fun?
Fair.
Which kind of interesting. It also looks like Nath doesn't have a sword yet either at this point. So
we have one at the water.
Is knowledge of 3. Ganon and Sus doesn't look like they have knowledge of any at this point.
Waterfall and Old Man are 2 of them. I can't remember where the 3rd one was. Oh, it was in Dark Cross. Right, we don't have Lamp yet.
But with that glove and then that fire rod in the back, that second sword in Dark Cross there is actually within logic now.
Yeah, right. With the fire rod, it is actually in logic.
2 logical swords, 1 illogical, maybe?
Trying to think of what an illogical sword would look like, but I'll just put that aside for now. A spoon, perhaps.
Maybe a fork? Something? I don't know.
A spork. Let's go with that.
There we go. That sounds good.
Got a key in the front of Skullwoods that will enable further exploration.
So just right behind, except on that side, we do have a sword to make a little bit easier work of some things around here.
And I'm not sure if it was version 30 or version 31 where the guaranteed key in the front of Skullwoods was randomized along with the rest of the chests.
I believe it was 31, so the most recent version here. So this is no longer guaranteed to be a key where Crayon is at. And speaking of which, I guess it's a big key today. So
it's a kind of key?
It's a version of a key.
Gonna check that big key chest immediately. With 1 heart, this is a safer way to get to that chest.
Also giving us a look at it with the bomb jump having more hearts. That is just the map. Looks like both of our items in Skullwoods is in the back. So does have that fire rod. Does look like Blue Crayon does too. So both of them, I would imagine, will be heading back there here.
So is in Skullwoods now, and with the Tempered Sword and Fire Rod, I could see them heading straight for Moth. Actually, I think they did do at least some of the front, though.
I believe so did make a full lap around the front. Made it a little bit quicker with that bomb jump to grab the big chest. Crayon actually is deciding to go take a look at Bumper Ledge. for 100 rupees here today instead of going in right away. Gets a fairy actually off of one of the guards, but leaving that one behind.
It's a nice drop, at least. Nathicana going for the middle part of the Dark World, heading for Hype Cave, or at least the cave formerly known as Hype.
And there we did just see it down on Scarlet's side in the bottom left that was in fact a sword in Dark Cross.
Nathicana not having a sword, trying to dash through the grass is somewhat touchy, as you couldn't possibly go through anything in that grass. Giving some non-existent rage slashes without a sword.
The I wish I had a sword slashes?
That'll work.
Hype Cave, a few pieces of heart, 300 rupees, and some bombs, so not really living up to the name today at all.
The rupee hoard is maybe half a point, so 0.5 out of 10. So heading in to take care of the moth. Tempered Sword is only 4 hits on Mothula.
Granted, Moth doesn't want to camp out on a spike, of course.
Well, no one said Mothula was cooperative. Just a piece of heart.
Making quick work of it, we now have 2 dungeons completed for So there. And the first crystal for FROMPS time.
Still looking for some more progression here. Looks like Skullwood's had nothing. Except the crystal, of course. I look at K45 at Scarlet, and it's a big heart. Also known as, I believe, Graveyard Ledge? No, not Graveyard Ledge. Grove.
Well, that sounds about right, given it's south of the Haunted Grove there.
Yeah, that's the idea, I think. I prefer K45.
Yeah, I think at this point, that's what we're all just kind of used to.
Scarlet gonna see if they can dig up some progression. Oh, it was just a red rupee.
4 digs, 20 bucks. That's a pretty good hourly wage, I suppose.
Getting some sync on our right side here with Ganon and his sus, both of them heading into Thieves Town.
At this point, I can think of one kind of specific location that none of our runners have been to that always seems to hold progression too.
And where would that be?
Oh, the ever infamous pod.
Ah, yes. Yes, I lost a race earlier today due to pod having progression when I didn't expect it.
That sounds to be the norm, it seems.
So I'm making good use of that mirror to go into King's Tomb. Gets the round fireproof shield, which I prefer to have, but again, not progression.
It's one of those items where if you come across it, you're not going to say no, but yeah, you can do without, I suppose.
Makes me happy, but it doesn't help me, necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah, to what you were saying earlier about low hearts, it is very true for the Ganon and Sus team at 5 and 6 hearts. Meanwhile, on the left side, we've got 6 and 7.
And speaking of left side, So is giving us a look at a kern jump attempt here to make their way over to the pod area on the north side without the flippers here.
That bomb beast, I think, just ruined that for the jump. I'm not sure what the name of that creature is.
No one ever said Hinoxes were nice.
Ah, Hinox, thank you. And appears to be putting that off for later.
Yeah, I'd imagine this will be an S&Q here to Link's house, and we're just going to go down south to that warp portal and go the south route into Pod here instead.
So I think Thieves Town may have the mitts because suddenly Ganon is sus has mitts. Completely missed that.
I believe you would be correct.
Blue Crayon giving us a look at the mire area.
Ourselves an empty shed.
Looks like mitts were in the front of Thieves Town.
So going over here to Pyramid Ledge. Meanwhile, Blue Crayon heading on into the checkerboard cave. That's just another pile of bombs.
So checking the pyramid. Gets that spin speed glitch and finds 3 bombs, I believe, or was that 10? It was one of those.
And oof, Mothula not being as nice for Scarlet as it was for So, taking a death off of those spikes there on the side of the wall.
Scarlet does have Master Sword, which is not bad, but it's no tempered.
The difference between damage on the tempered sword, Master Sword to tempered sword is quite large, to the point where as soon as you can get that tempered, anyone would prefer to have that in hand. Literally.
Yeah. Nathicana took another death in Thieves Town, decides to put that off until later. I think that's actually a wise decision. I often do that if I hit trouble.
Yeah, something can be definitely said about noticing, what at the point where you're not really making too much progression in there, so you just kind of want to take a step back, get out, kind of cool down a little bit, so you don't get too tilted, especially in a race here.
So checked out the catfish and just found some twigs. And on the Zora ledge, we've got the wonderful bug net that absolutely everyone must get. Just kidding. Don't do that. Let's go check out Zora. And get some money back, actually.
Not as bad of a scam as Zora usually runs.
Flippers in desert.
Speaking of Zora,
because swimming flippers are exactly what you would expect to find in a desert.
Right? I guess a desert is a sea of sand, so maybe makes sense.
That works. Let's see. Item-wise, they have just about everything they need for Ice Palace for Ganon is sus. They're only missing the hook shot, which may not be necessary.
Except the other thing they're missing that I'm sure they'd love to have right about at this time would be a sword. They're still hunting for his sword here.
That is very true. They follow the flippers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully with those flippers in hand, they'll be one of them will be heading that way shortly.
It's interesting. The lamp. Let's see. Well, no, the lamp only locks one sword. Then the fire rod locked another sword. And then the flippers locked the other one, which they could have ignored, but they decided not to. I missed that Sahasrara check on So.
I guess I didn't even see that one either.
And I don't see any items on the tracker, so I'm guessing it was nothing.
It'll probably be a safe bet here. Scarlet, meanwhile, has found those mitts. On Blue Crayon going to the back of a desert palace here.
Fire Rod helps against Lanmolas, although it would take 6 shots and you have just about exactly, well, now you have 7 shots. I always go for that pot in that pot under the pot, as it were.
Careful now, missed one of the shots. And makes quick work
Nicely
of
done.
there. Very nicely done.
So giving us a first look at Pod.
So where will the bow be hiding here in Pod for us today?
It's a given, isn't it?
It seems more and more like it the more and more seeds you play.
I believe So is trying to clip the Mimic out of there.
Going with the Mimic clip, wanting to save that red goo, which you can't really blame him. And looks like Blue Crayon is gonna do the flippers checks here. I was almost thinking they were going into to ice and like, no, just go check Waterfall Fairy first.
I would imagine they're going to check it right after this check here. Apparently the Sanctuary Heart was on Sahasrara. And there goes the Mimic.
There are two bow-locked checks over here. They're giving us a small key today.
Kind of low on bombs there.
It's something else to be determined. So two small keys.
Looks like Nathicana is going for a swamp, actually. And now that I think about it, with flippers... Wait, do they have flippers? Or maybe they're just draining the dam? I'm not sure.
I didn't think Nath had been over to Desert yet. 4 runners, there's a lot to kind of keep track of.
I think they just realized they didn't have the flippers.
My partner said flippers, and I thought I had flippers.
Honestly, that is a very easy mistake to make.
Yes, that is.
You just hear flippers and your mind goes, oh, I have flippers. No. And Blue Crayon about to get a, let's see, I don't know what to call it, a discount scam?
60% refund, let's go with that.
You know, restocking fees, that kind of thing.
There you go.
Scarlet with a blind fight. Believe that was scripted. Very well done.
First two looked like they were on script. Got a little off in the third, but I mean it's the third phase. As long as you get past the first two, you're usually good.
Usually, yep. Got
Being
a quick
rewarded
medallion.
with a mail upgrade too off of blind.
Quick medallion in the dark in Palace of Darkness, but with the fire rod, I imagine that's in logic.
And that is correct.
Without lamp, there's not much left in pod to get. I mean, you know, you can go ahead and do the dark maze though. It's one of the more difficult dark rooms to navigate. But if you have the map, if you have a picture up in another window, it's not too hard to learn.
Just depends whether or not you want to get bounced around a little bit by the enemies in there and get put off your path.
Oh, you know, a little fire, it warms you up. Got Scarlet turning in the frog for the blacksmith chain, now that they have mitts from Thieves Town. Looks like they have not, Ganon and Sus has not looked at the waterfall yet, otherwise they would know there's a sword there.
Blue Crayon actually did go in there and did grab the sword, so Crayon does have
okay,
one
right.
sword.
I was worried for a moment. There's like, wait, you're going to the back of Skullwoods without a sword? You can't do that. Be like going into swamp without flippers.
I mean, I wish I could say it doesn't happen that often, but I mean, in co-op with a lot of information coming at you all at once, and
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I was being a bit facetious. I mean, for
Oh,
example,
yeah.
I've often jumped into Ice Palace without a hammer, and then I get to the bottom and go, oh wait a minute.
It always feels bad until you find the hammer in Ice Palace.
This is true.
But you're like, oh, I didn't have that? Oh, well, thank you.
Whoops. Oh, okay. I'll just take this and, be on my way.
That was planned. Yeah.
Total galaxy brain. Blue Crayon busy poking Mothula with a toothpick. Not a fun fight with Fighter Sword. Doing some decent work managing it, though. Keeping Mothula down at the bottom half of the screen as much as possible.
Made use of that red goo.
Nicely
there we
done.
go.
Unfortunately, not getting anything for the effort except the crystal.
But it still is a crystal.
Nathicana taking on Lanmolas with the hammer, which is not an enviable fight for sure. Oh, and takes a death. Boy, with so few hearts, it really is rough trying to get some of these bosses down, especially without a sword.
That is definitely true. Another, kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but one of the, like I said, downfalls of the co-op mode is you see a lot of these low percentage plays, low hearts, not as many safeties, not as many mail upgrades. A lot of times those are things you tend to skip, especially if they're out of the way in these seeds.
Yeah, you have to find a balance between taking various risks and whatever those risks might cause down the line. You can see So completing or working on completing Thieves Town and already has the mitts. Skipping the chest that their partner has said are no reason to check. Scarlet going to finish up Desert here pretty soon. So where is our progression? Probably Ice Palace at the rate we're going.
Yeah, at this rate, I feel like Ice has to be it. We've checked Pod, we've checked my area.
Swamp is actually open.
I guess we can
Left side
check one in Swamp. Yep.
Oh dear, if it's left side Swamp, that just will not be nice for our runners.
And I did also mention it earlier, but we have the Quake medallion that is within logic. Meyer is Quake.
I missed that.
I did mention Soma and Meyer a little while ago, so I do apologize to our runners if that ends up being true.
Goodness. How dare you? Yeah, I would say a lot of these checks that are left are not nice ones.
That is a very fair assumption.
And especially without Cane of Samaria. Cane of Samaria for Icebreaker. I don't know if there's ways you can do that without the cane. I don't think so.
If there is, I am not quite privy to them.
That's what I was thinking.
Just do the good old-fashioned Ice Palace bomb jump way.
Oh no.
We also do have 3 checks up Dark Death Mountain, 4 if you count Spike Cave, if I'm
Good
counting
point.
Right. Yeah, like you said, we're at the point where nothing is fun to check at this juncture, so you just kind of decide who's gonna do this terrible check and who's gonna do that terrible check.
What would you do in this situation?
I mean, given the last couple seeds I've played, knowing where that Quake medallion is and that Myers Quake, I'm heading into Mire.
Yeah, that is a pretty strong indicator. If you have the matching medallion whenever you get there, you're like, oh, do I need to jump in there now?
I've just played way too many Soma and Mire seeds lately.
Yeah, and also they have Fire Rod, which would open the fire-locked part of Mire, so...
Get all the chests in there except the boss. There's only 2 items granted, but...
Doesn't matter if that's where it is, that's where it is.
Exactly.
So what would it be then? Bow, maybe? Or could just be flat-out Canis Amaria.
It could be Soma, and Turtle Rock could be Ether.
Oh, we're getting blue goo from the waterfall fairy. That's very nice.
On the list of things I would not say no to.
Definitely. Nathicana taking care of Gary's lunchbox, the purple chest.
And meanwhile, on the top left, if you missed it, that was a perfectly scripted fight on blind from So. Very well done. And Scarlet is heading into Ice Palace as well.
Yeah, I like the Ice Palace move. I think Nathicana is doing going to do a glitch here where they quote unquote duplicate the chest once they go into the Dark World, where they'll get to leave it behind. Nope. At that point, you can leave it behind and dash away, and then when you mirror back to the light world and talk to the man, you'll get the item in the chest. So that's something I learned just recently. But doing the traditional walk in this way.
Yeah, the game, for some reason, still thinks you have that chest following you, so...
Yeah, I think in particular using the mirror is what is the key to that glitch.
And the key is making sure you mirror close enough to Gary himself there to make sure that you'll turn it in as soon as you come into the light world.
So giving us a look at Spike Cave. Just another bottle. And Scarlet showing us the traditional route through Ice Palace.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
I mean, the Ice Palace bomb jump is technically against the rules as far as the vanilla game goes, but for Rando, it used to be very widely used. Then the icebreaker glitch was found, and now people prefer to use that.
They call it icebreaker, but as far as I guess you can say a lot of people are concerned, it actually is ice fixer.
I would say so too, actually.
I mean, it just makes the dungeon flow so much nicer.
Agreed. One day I sat down and spent about 15 minutes trying to get it to work, and it was very well worth it.
That is one of the more well worth glitches once you get it down, that's for definitely sure.
Gonna get a look at Turtle Rock on So's screen on the upper left.
Looking
for some magic.
Oh,
and
God.
It is Ether. But not enough magic for it.
A little bit of knowledge of map, though, right there. Pull the right claw and you get yourself some full magic canters.
I actually did not know that. I know it now.
One of the lesser used things, but it's very handy when you need it.
Very handy. Scarlet chipping away at Ice Palace. Hey, we just found a hookshot in Super Bunny Cave.
Hmm.
That might be the progression we were looking for.
That is very well placed. Let's take that right outside and go check 4 more chests.
And so also finding hookshot right afterwards. So you get a little bit of sync here on the upper screens.
I believe that puts us down to Soma and a bow that we are looking for.
I'm still banking on Samaria and Meyer. Or I could be wrong, you know. Really, literally, when I'm saying it, you find it really. Even worse, it's in Ice Palace, so Icebreaker was completely broken, as it were.
The game's like, oh, you have fancy new tech to make this easier? Well, no, you don't.
How about no?
Not today. And with that, you can see So is heading right over into ice, I would imagine, here to grab that one up. That just leaves us with needing to find ourselves a bow for a go mode here.
So yeah, although technically, for logic's sake, we would need lamp, we are in bow mode, I believe.
Guess we can
10
see.
bombs on Cold Stare there.
We could say tournament go mode, the go mode without the lamp, maybe?
Getting our first look at Swamp on Blue Crayon screen. I think that's a very logical thing to do once you find the hook like that. However, Kane of Samaria is in Ice Palace.
Blue Crayon first shooting a fire rod shot at that bomb wall. Didn't really work out too well, but you know, made the switch to the bomb shortly thereafter. That worked a little bit better.
Magic missile will not break that wall.
I mean, we could use some chemistry and shoot a fire rod shot and then an ice rod shot, and based on chemistry, maybe make it break, and then you could bonk it?
We can hope. Nathicana taking another death in Thieves Town, just not having a good day there today.
Did I just see So hover Ice Palace bomb jump?
I missed that.
Come on now.
I was busy watching to see if Nathicana was going to pull off the blind fight. So
I was more saying, come on, to So hovering that. That's a, come on, man.
oh yeah, that's true. Come on, bomb jump. It's easy. But no, you have to swag. I would too, quite honestly, if I knew how to do that.
Truth. If I could do that, I'd be all over it.
Of course, I don't have an extra hand. And we welcome those of you coming in from ALTTPR League 2 channel. Have a race here between FROMPS time and Ganon is sus. FROMPS having one race up on Ganon is sus.
The way this seed is going, all we are looking for at this point is a bow. Of course, the lamp notwithstanding. For go mode, the Cane of Somaria is actually hiding in the Ice Palace big chest, if I do recall correctly.
Very much so.
So we'll be coming across that shortly. Needs to go to Ice Tea here to grab the big key. The long way, of course, because we didn't have a small key.
Blue Crayon doing a nice diver down in Swamp Palace to get that key. Makes it a little bit easier to do left side swamp.
Always a good thing to have in your arsenal. And Scarlet making the trip to Hookshot Cave there to grab red mail. Before heading into Turtle Rock, it looks like.
Now, truly Scarlet, as you can see from the hair.
Red mail, red sword, just missing the red shield. Come on, go pick it up. Let's go. You need to do that.
We got a list here. Diving into Turtle Rock. And this is a pretty good play since they have the Canis Maria and both rods.
I mentioned
Also,
all we are looking for is that bow, and we found up as I was saying.
What bow are you speaking of?
Well, that is knowledge go mode there for FROMPS time. It looks like having that bow in sight.
So I got a curse and you get a curse. Perfect.
You did it to Soma, I did it to the bow. All right, let's go.
I'm just sad it wasn't in Meyer.
I mean, I was really hoping it was. I wanted somebody else to feel that pain today, but...
Alas. Got some more diver down happening on Crayon's side. Unfortunately, Swamp not having any progression that we know of.
Another beautiful fight there on the top left from So, making more quick work of Cold Stare. That was great with those dash strats.
So we did find some logic in Swamp. We found the lamp in the I don't know, the double chest room in the back there.
Yeah, it's merely a suggestion at this point, I would imagine.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what I was wondering. I didn't think So picked up the big chest first time through, and I believe I'd be correct. They're heading back on in to go get that cane Samaria.
So the Ganon and his sus team is going to have to hurry up and find that cane. And
Not
along
only
with that, the bow.
They're also in need of a sword.
This is true. With the lamp they just got, though, that might help direct them in the right direction.
They've both been up the mountain, but neither of them turned in the old man, as I say that Nath is doing that on the bottom right, and there's their second sword.
There we go. See, it's always good to help old men.
You know, I'm inclined to believe you the way this one's going today. Still can't help but wonder how the old man got that far, though, in the dark without a lamp.
And I was late to notice this, but Blue Crayon giving us the menu boss fighting Argus with the hammer and the hookshot. I'm not sure if it's possible to use sword spins with the fighter sword against Argus with too much effect. I've not been able to use sword spins on Argus yet.
Yeah, I've ever tried using fighter sword spins. You should just opt for the menu boss.
Scarlet having some fun with the maze here at the bottom of Turtle Rock without a lamp, but manages to get through. And already has a key, so they can completely skip Laser Bridge.
That's always nice, and in before Ganon says you should have found the silver arrows in Turtle Rock, meaning that they'd be sitting on Laser Bridge.
That would figure. But if I have Tempered Sword in hand, I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah. Just one of those you're just like, man, I was right there, but okay, I suppose.
I would actually prefer to have Tempered Sword versus Master Sword with silvers for Ganon. Be a quicker fight, I think. Well, maybe not quicker. Might be easier, though.
A little bit easier being able to slash in a couple of the phases instead
Right.
of spin. the second head on Trinex down for Scarlet. Meanwhile, So is covering ground there back in Desert, gonna grab the flippers there, and I'd imagine go right into Meyer thereafter.
Actually, they don't need to go to Meyer, do they?
Yeah, it's all dungeons.
Right, thank you. Sorry.
Speaking of which, being all dungeons, are any of our runners going to forget Ego 1 today?
That is a good question.
They all too often forgot about Ego 1. You get done with the GT climb, that hole opens up, you're like, oh, freedom, you drop in, and then Ganon calls you an umpty.
So now it comes down to if Ganon and Sus can find that Cane of Samaria and bow quickly. And the way things are going, they need to get that cane first so they can go into Turtle Rock and get the bow. So it would be a stretch.
But with that hookshot in hand, and now having knowledge of at least 2 swords, would hope one of them would make a trip over to Ice Palace here very shortly.
The FROMPS time team showing a somewhat healthy array of hearts. We got 11 for Scarlet and looks like 9 for Zoe. With Ganon and Sus, not too bad either in the hearts department.
Like 10 and 9 for Crayon and Nathicana, respectively.
Where was that Quake medallion?
Quake medallion is in Pod basement, Rupee basement, I believe.
Ah, okay.
That would be why Scarlet would be heading over there right now to Pod. I would imagine this will be a Pod Eastern Palace finish for them while they're over here. So, of course, heading on into Meyer to knock that out after finishing Desert Palace.
Did very well clearing that first room in Meyer.
Meyer 2 is another one of those rooms that's just it's just a pain. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I like having sword sparks for that first room, so you can clear it out very quickly.
Speaking of sword.
Well, there's the fourth one. I could actually see Team Ganon and Sus checking that chest because that's an easy place to look for the big key in Meyer.
Yeah, most routing, I believe, does take you to that chest first in Meyer, so...
Right. They should have a third sword by then.
At the very least, they'll be untempered.
But first they need to find that cane. Well, I mean, they could go to... Well, actually, they need Quake first, which is in Palace of Darkness.
Bran is heading to Ice Palace. That is definitely good news. That'll get him towards the direction of that Cane of Samaria.
Unfortunately, they have to take the long route through Ice Palace to get to the big key and then finally to to that big chest where the cane is.
Link, you'll miss it up there, top left. So showing us a little bit more little known tech there. Skipping through that barrier.
That's the first time I've seen that.
You gotta get yourself on the right, essentially one of those get yourself on the right pixel, then you can just dash right on through it. Good old 1 pixel movements.
Still not having the lamp, we'll have to do the Meyer Dark rooms. This first room is the most challenging, but with a little practice, it's not that hard.
I mean, if it wasn't for those Medusas.
That would be it, yep. But yeah, throwing the block from the bottom of the room there is the best way to do it, in my opinion, and does it very easily.
So just over here making all this stuff look a lot easier than it is. Bike room into the last of the Meyer dark rooms. Toss a bomb to the north, dash up, hit a switch in the next room here, and then find your door on the left side.
Nathicana almost causing a flood of the small key over here, so managed to stop themselves before that happened. Wish I could say I've never flooded the key, but that's not the case.
Makes it through without a problem, heading on up into their vitreous fight here with butter swords, a couple slashes on each of these little eyeballs, take them down no problem.
Gotta watch out for that health, though. Those eyeballs do quite a bit of damage, although I believe that's red mail. Yeah, okay, not too bad.
Yeah. They still do hurt. I believe they still do 2 hearts worth of damage on red mail. Opting to sit down here in the middle and slash at the big eyeballs that walks towards you.
Believe that's 8 slashes with butter sword, so not too bad.
Yeah, just a nice, simple, safe strat there. Not too many frills, but most importantly, that is another dungeon completed on the left-hand side for FROMPS time.
Scarlet taking on the kitty dinosaur. Actually, the first to clear pod.
And hey, here's $20 for your effort.
So heading for swamp, and we'll very likely go mode it. I don't think they're going to find the lamp. Well, they might. It depends on the route they take.
At this point, I wouldn't imagine they'd be opening too many for chests. I mean, they know where that bow is, so they're gonna put that off probably until after swamp here.
Yeah, unless they're just randomly checking chests to see if they can dig up the lamp, then I don't think they'll be checking any more chests at all.
I believe it is safe to say, though, after having conquered that Meyer Darkroom without the lamp, I don't think we'll be opening any chests on Suicide for that lamp.
That's a good point. Speaking of the lamp, and Nathicana about ready to pick theirs up here. Scarlet about ready to take down Eastern. This is their second visit to Eastern, as the flute and hammer were in here earlier, so they had to get those first before proceeding forward.
That's true. So at this point, all it's going to be is a quick trip to the back and some arrows to Armless Knight's face. Looks like they will have Skull Woods and Swamp Palace remaining. Kind of heading into a fight over there on the bottom right. Meanwhile, Crayon picks up that Soma out of Ice Palace.
And is likely excitedly telling their partner exactly where it is. This being co-op, they have voice access to each other. And they also have the option of using a document in a shared document to share information as well. Though I think in practice that's hard to work with. Well, so it does find the lamp. I guess they were looking for something.
Maybe looking for a second bow?
Could be.
Could also be of the thinking of, you know, these 3 chests are on the way anyways. Let's just open them in case.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I don't have everything, so why not do a few more checks? I mean, for example, the cape would be a good thing to have.
Yeah, that is fair. That's fair.
Got 4 bosses on 4 screens. 2 of which are Argus. Although 2 of them have also been dealt with.
Oh boy, Argus dropping the book for us today. That's almost kind of unfortunate for Ganon and Sus, because that could push him off towards 2 other checks instead
Yeah, it
at this
would.
point. At least one is kind of close here. You come right out of Swamp, and you can make a quick dash to the left and mirror to the Bombos tablet and check it.
Yep. And they may route in the other one on the way up to Turtle Rock. And all 4 bosses are down.
Looks like Nath might be opting for...
Oh, interesting point brought up in chat is they're trying to look for the second bow because So doesn't have the first bow yet, and they would have avoided a trip to TR, but it looks like that may not be possible. So now Ganon is Sus is looking for that bow. So until they go to TR, unless the bow pops up somewhere else, we will be just sitting there looking for it. Well, it looks like Crayon may be going for Aga 1 here. Oh, wait, no. Front of Escape.
Heading down to the front of Escape to grab that ice rod out of the second check here. They're the one with Soma. I would imagine they're grabbing that ice rod and making their way up towards Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's too bad that they had to go all the way to Turtle Rock to get the bow, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's just rando.
That's random.
Fortunately, it wasn't nearly as mean as it could have been, though.
Yeah, it's right in the front, so it's not too bad. Yeah, it looks like So's going to go ahead and finish the dungeon while they're up here. And then take care of Pod and Eastern at the same time.
Yeah, you're up here, you may as well complete it. That way you just kind of save yourself yet again another trip up the mountain. Never feels good doing multiple trips, but in this case, when it's unavoidable, you can at least take solace in knowing your opponent's going to have to do the same dang thing.
Good news, everyone. All the dark rooms are now in Logic. And Blue Crayon finds a third sword in Dark Cross, probably relaying that to their partner as well. Looks like Blue Crayon is going to check the Ether tablet.
No better time to really check it. Check it now on your way back up, since you're on your way to Ganon's Tower. Not Ganon's Tower, to Turtle Rock, so...
I mean, you're going to pass Ganon's Tower on the way, kinda.
Yeah.
Not checking the tablet.
Taking a quick dash right by it instead.
Oh, apparently Blue Crayon checked the tablets earlier. I'm having trouble following 4 screens. I apologize.
runners, 4 screens. There's a lot of action going on all of them. But thankfully, we do have ourselves some amazing trackers here today to keep ourselves on track. Doing all the hard work behind the scenes, making it easy for us to notice what items are where and who has what. So big shout outs to them.
So I just noticed, so I believe using the pug sprite, I believe the bunny sprite for the pug is a bunny pug. Is that right?
I believe so.
I believe that's what I saw.
It's always just another one of the fun things around with all these sprites is just seeing their bunny sprites. Hard work that goes into all of the sprites that we get to use here in Randomizer.
Yeah, props to the people that made those sprites. I mean, there's such a wide array of them. It's really awesome.
Blue Crayon, having just picked up that bow in Turtle Rock, I would imagine be relaying that information as well. That means Ganon is sus, should be in go mode as well once they find that Quake medallion. I should stop myself. They need to find that Quake medallion in Pod. That bow will push them, I'd hope, in the right direction for it, though.
And for those of you looking to participate in the Ganon's Tower Big Key chess game, not yet. As soon as we have our 7th crystal, we will start the guessing game for that. As soon as Scarlet clears Skullwoods. Meanwhile, so heading up towards Trinex, and with the Tempered Sword in hand, it should be a good, easy fight. Oh, going for the... I'm sorry, has Butter Sword? Yep, has Butter Sword. And takes care of those heads. Still gets a head extension, but does a pretty good job there.
A little bit slow on hitting that ice head with the fire rod, but I mean, 1 cycle, you'll take it any day. I think it's
that was
the
very
perfect
nice.
L right there.
Yeah, it looks like both So and Scarlet have the Butter Sword.
Yeah, Butter Sword sitting in that bridge chest just to the right of where Scarlet is passing right now. You were there, it's a quick dash up to it, you may as well grab it at that point, I suppose. Speaking of swords, looks like Nath is heading to Dark Cross to grab their Tempered Sword right now. Blue Crayon still doing checks here through Turtle Rock, still in need of that Quake medallion that is sitting in the Dark Ruby basement in Pod.
They will find that eventually, but since they're checking extra chests, that will add more time.
That's going on. Looks like Nath is going to be the first of our runners to jump into AGA 1 today.
They were already at the palace, so this does make sense. Another option being once you finish with AGA 2, you can mirror over to the palace and take care of AGA 1 right before you head into Ganon.
Sometimes that method is a little more optimal, or preferred, I should say, since it does give you a heart and magic refill when you are done with AGA 1.
True.
AGA 2, conversely, does not. Down goes Misery Mire for Scarlet. That is yet another dungeon complete. 1 more remaining, and that is a quick dash to the back of Skullwoods and a date with Mothula.
And with all the equipment that they have, this should be a very quick fight. Unless, of course, Moth decides to hang out on the spikes.
Seems to be Moth's favorite pastime. Want to damage me? Nah, I'm going to sit on the spikes. Which, of course, the way Mothula is coded, Mothula does not take any damage when sitting on those spikes, so hit it all you want. It ain't gonna take a lick of damage until it's off of those spikes there.
Scarlet heading into this cave where it has bomb and arrow upgrades, and buying an upgrade gives you a free refill, so it's a easy arrow refill once you use all your arrows on Vitreous.
With the flute in hand, it's a quick dash over to the flute 8 spot. Yeah, no real reason not to. Making a stop as well up at the witch's hut to grab some potions before heading on over to their last dungeon.
Nice safety to have. Let's see. If you're in FROMPS position with the items in the go mode that you had around 55 minutes, would you feel comfortable?
Around 55 minutes with all that, definitely. I'd be completing dungeons. I'd just be going to the top there. Of course, notwithstanding, I'd probably stop like Scarlet did and get a potion or two just because I'd rather be safe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is you feel like you have a little bit of extra time, so why not grab the extra safety?
Yeah. It's one of those where I've kind of told myself from time to time, if I lose by 2 seconds because I stopped to grab a potion, well, okay.
So be it. We did find bombos on Laser Bridge, and I believe we found powder somewhere in Turtle Rock. I missed where, though.
Powder was on the first chest there in Laser Bridge.
Thank you.
And bombos was on the last chest. With that powder, too, that gives us another location for those silvers, but unless they're sitting on Magic Bat, we'll probably see them in GT somewhere at this point, I would imagine. I believe we didn't see both the items in Mire either. I think we only got one, which was that sword.
Scarlet jumping in for the moth. Hopefully this will be a nice quick fight. And unfortunately, I did not see how many blue balls we've already gotten from Aga 1 on Nathicana's screen. And down goes the moth, and since that is 7 crystals, we have a guessing game for Ganon's Tower Big Key, numbers 1 through 22. If you want to get your guess into chat, we can start that game. And if you are the first to get it, you get points. And we will end the guessing game as soon as they enter Ganon's Tower.
Yep, and it does look like Scarlet will be the first of our runners up there, taking the flute up to 1 just a little bit before So, who's just finishing off their final fight of the day. Keep in mind, if we do have 2 runners in Ganon's Tower at the same time, we go by the count of the first runner in Ganon's Tower.
So at this rate, it looks like it will be Scarlet.
Yep, heading on over. Gotta take a quick warp here and go right up the mountains. So we'll be right behind, taking their flute up to 1 as well. Blue Crayon giving us a look at Magic Bat, just some bombs today.
Yeah, the Ganon is Sus team does not know where the Quake Medallion is yet for Misery Mire, and it's in Palace of Darkness, unfortunately, which is somewhat locked by Bo.
Yeah, but with that bow and hammer in hand, now it's a fully completable dungeon for him, and it does look like that is in fact where Blue Crayon is now heading. So that is definitely good news for Ganon is Sus.
If you have any guesses remaining for Ganon's Tower, now is the time to do it. Do you have a favorite guess there, Spy Weaver?
I always go with the good old-fashioned 14. Numbers serve me well in other things, and it's usually a nice midpoint in GT, so yeah, that's what I usually go with. How about yourself?
I'm going to go with 3.
Looking at it being a little nice to him today, aren't you?
Oh, you know. They've already had some trouble to deal with. All right, here we go with. Oh wow, Scarlet just barely beat so into Ganon's tower. I completely missed that.
Yep, that being said, like I said earlier, we are going with Scarlet's count here, and that's 2 down on that key. It looks like Scarlet will be going to the right. I would imagine being co-op, so we'll go right to the left then.
Oh, Scarlet deciding to mirror back to the entrance. So the torch will be number 3. It's just a compass.
Looks like they're letting Scarlet letting So go off to the right instead.
Number 4 for Scarlet.
There we go. Except we ruined the whole Scarlet thing with the butter sword, unfortunately. So Scarlet up to 7, about to make their way into 8. Well, So got wall mastered, unfortunately, and had to make their way back to the right side. 8 is just another small key on Scarlet's side.
Blue Crayon getting close to finding that quick medallion. Coming up on chest number 9 for Scarlet. So to answer a question in chat, Ganon was falling behind. Let's see. What would you say would cause them to fall behind the most?
I kind of feel like that sword disadvantage off the top really definitely hurt them.
Yeah, there were swords hiding in Dark Cross at the Old Man on the Mountain, and also, let's see, where was the other one? Got silvers in chest number 10. And all the way through number 12 is empty. And let me see, what did they have trouble with earlier?
I believe that would be check 13, actually, there for Scarlet, if I'm counting right.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then after that, I believe the next kind of just big stopping point was, I just say not getting to that, following that hook shot as soon as they found it, or not going into ice. They were later into ice, is what the part was. Ice hid the Samaria cane, which basically ended up leading to everything else we needed. They also are making their first trip into Pod right now, their second trip, I should say, up on Blue Crayon's side.
Chest number 14 having half magic.
The Blue Crayon finally grabbing that Quake medallion that they finally needed, which right now at 126, I believe, is where they grabbed that.
Ouch, that's a long time.
Into go mode.
Chest number 17, I believe that is.
That is correct.
And our big winner is Spy Weaver.
I guess the closest without going over.
Yep. Price is Right rolls. So Scarlet is now making their way through the gauntlet. So is about to find that big key and join them.
Yep. Right behind. Won't have silvers. Will have the half magic though, but being with the butter sword, it's not going to be that much of a deal.
Right. So the logic that we had to deal with in this late game, aside from the swords, is they also had to get the Cane of Samaria from Ice Palace, which led to the bow up in Turtle Rock, which allowed them to finish the rest of the dungeons. Although it also meant Quake was in Pod, which was also a late find for Ganon and his sus. So they just had a lot of things not go their way in this rando.
That is true, showing us a little bit of that apathy of going into Pod without the bow. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Those are just the gambles that you kind of deal with, and just, you make them and you live with them here in Rando, and sometimes it works, and sometimes, and unfortunately this seed it doesn't work out in the way you'd hoped it would have.
Right. But as you practice more and learn more tricks, and you're able to skip some of those logic requirements, it makes things a lot easier for you.
That is true. You could probably also say that them not having their swords until as late as they did was another definitely big factor here, kind of pushing them farther and farther away from maybe making some of those checks when they possibly could have, or as early as they could have, since they were probably about 30 to 40 minutes behind on finding their first sword, I believe.
Right. Although I just noticed something. So is missing a small key.
Oof.
So unless they find it later in the gauntlet, they're going to have to go back and get one.
We do have one on the mini Helmasaur up on the top.
But they need two.
And you get 3 chests before you get locked out by a small key.
Yeah, that is something that you just have to learn to take a look for right before you head up GT, is you need to make sure you have at least one small key in hand.
And also, to be fair, it was probably one of those situations where Scarlet was like, hey, big key's right here, and so was like, okay, gotta go, let's not grab stuff, let's get big key, and
Absolutely,
things like that
absolutely
just
fair.
easily slip your mind, especially in co-op modes.
In theory, if you count your keys well in the front of Ganon's tower, you could guess that there's a key in the back, but you'd have to clear all the chests, I think.
And
so we will
Scarlet
see.
Didn't open any of them, so Scarlet's not going to give us a look at whether or not there's keys up there for So.
Which makes me think that So hasn't realized it yet either, or they would have said, hey, can you check the chests on the way up? We did find out Moldorm 2 had a big 20 rupees.
$20 to buy that very last plane ticket over to the Ganon drop down.
Thank you for flying Duckway Airlines, where we have a duck in the dark world for no apparent reason.
Gee, thanks. I've been trying to call you here in the dark world this whole time, and you ignored me until now. Really? Come on.
So is checking chests now, looking for that remaining small key.
Down to one last chest here. Scarlet takes down Aga 2. And no small key. That is unfortunate. We'll have to take a mirror and head on back to find another key here.
I want to say that that last chest never has a small key, but I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. There we go. Easily done.
Go down, grab the pot key, head back up. Although at the same time, climbing GT twice never feels that good.
Oh no, I've done that a few times where I missed that key and I'm just cursing at myself all the way up.
You get up there, it's just like, oh, really? What? Oh, man.
Right up there with forgetting you don't have enough arrows, which actually So is kind of close. Oh, they got an arrow drop.
Luckily, the Mimics are in the arrow pack. Regardless, there is a 5 arrow drop in that right pot in Mimic 2.
Also true.
So if you're fairly accurate with that bow, you should be fine as long as you have at very minimum 4 arrows heading into Mimic 1 there.
That would just be the icing on the cake, is the run out of arrows right there.
Man, as if you're not defeated enough when that happens and you get to the top of the tower. Now you want to do that to him? Come on.
I wouldn't want to do it to him, but sometimes it's just how it happens. Rando's gonna rando.
Fair point. It looks like Blue Crayon heading on over to Meyer now with that Quake Medallion in hand. I believe that will be their last dungeon as well to complete before heading up into Ganon's Tower. Scarlet with those silvers making quick work here in Eggle. One shot of that silver or one slash of that nice butter sword. Killing these red cards without so much but a second look.
Yeah, I was saying earlier butter isn't necessary, but you know what? It slices through everything, so it's nice to have.
Like a hot knife through butter.
Hot butter knife through... Well, I'm not sure where that's going.
We'll just nod and say yes.
Smile and wave.
Exactly.
Yeah, as far as minimum requirements, you only ever need Master Sword, and you can even do without silvers. It just takes a very long time to finish off Ganon with only Master Sword and no silvers.
12 spins in each of the first 2 phases, then you need 4 spins in the second phase, and then you need 24 spins in the final phase with a Master Sword.
Never a fun time.
I'm not gonna lie, I usually lack patience because, as chat's kind of pointing out, it feels like 50-some spins when you're in that final phase.
Make it stop! Scarlet taking care of Aghanim 1. Oh yeah, we forgot. Just kidding.
But fortunately not.
No, that you don't want Ganon calling you a numpty.
As funny as it is, it's another one of those things. It's just a little demoralizing at this point in the seed as a runner. Alright, having finally grabbed that second key, Sue is now in the last little bit of a challenge room here before going up for some Agonometry, heading on into Aga 2, while Scarlet's in Aga 1. We'll see if So paid attention here in Hyrule College and see if they can line some of these up properly here.
I think we missed another hover from So at Moldorm 2.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, if you're gonna hover IPBJ, you're gonna hover Moldorm 2.
Easily.
I mean, I think you're required to at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, I think you're contractually obligated.
You already did this. You started this. You may as well finish it now. Come on.
Scarlet already jumping through phase 1 and 2 of Ganon. While So is heading over to the pyramid and will then do Aga 1.
The converses we were talking about, Master Sword spins earlier on Ganon. The Butter Sword, meanwhile, 6 slashes in each of the first 2, 4 in the third phase, of course. Third phase always taking 4 hits regardless. And then with silvers in hand, just needing 4 slashes and 4 silver hits.
Gets 1 quick silver hit already before the lights go out.
In that torch glitch, but not that big of a deal, of course, with those silvers in hand, and as well with half magic. Make quick work of things there. That's 3, gets them before the second torch goes out. That's the 4th. All that we have left for Scarlet is a 1x3 bridge, separating them from taking first place in this week 1 Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3 All Dungeon Seed. And there it is. Get your GGs in chat. Crossing first with an official time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 54 seconds.
GGs. Very well done.
At the same time, top right, Blue Crayon taking down their last boss fight, I believe. Be seeing a quick mirror and then a flute up the mountain to them. They should be right behind into GT here very shortly.
Nathicana working on Cold Stare. They still need to go up to Turtle Rock to get their bow, with the second bow being in GT. Meanwhile, So heading up and is going to hit Aga 1.
It was a cold start on the bottom right for Nathicana. Had that blue goo in hand to make it just a nice, safe fight there. May as well use it so you don't die. Take it down. Good work right there. Imagine next trip would be up the mountain here to grab that bow. Get themselves a little bit closer to that necessary go mode.
I've failed to count how many blue balls there were.
It's our third time seeing Aga 1. You'd think by now I'd be paying attention and counting, but...
I'm old, I can't take this. No, I'm just kidding. I have an excuse. Ha!
I just forget how to count.
It's just aggravating when Aga 1 starts throwing blue balls at you and just lengthens the fight even further.
Don't you mean aggravating?
It's very aggravating, yes.
Alright, blue Crayon on the top right. The first of our Ganon is Sus runners to head on to GT. We'll see if they decide to go left or right here off the top.
The big key, of course, being on or behind Ice Armor, so it almost doesn't matter which way you go.
As long as you go fully to one side and commit. Left side, as we know, would give you silvers. Both will give you that half magic. And so drop it into a Ganon fight here with that butter, I believe they're on butter sword.
Yeah, I believe everyone's got it. Except, I don't think Nathicana's gone. Yeah, they don't have the Quake Medallion yet, so they haven't been to Mire yet.
Yeah. And just like that, a few quick slashes. So is on into phase 3.
So fast. I barely looked away, and now I look back, and they're halfway through Ganon already.
It's the perks of that butter sword. It does make things nice and speedy there. Getting that first spin a little early. Does have to do silverless, of course. Did not go to the left side to grab those silvers. Does get the torch glitch with the fire rod shot. Very nice.
And whether you have tempered or butter sword, it is 12 sword spins without silvers.
No special damage glass for the butter spin.
I think Blue Crayon went they went all the way to the compass room, but then decided to mirror back to the front, which is honestly something I would do, but in this case is just wrong. That's how rando goes.
Welcome to rando. To be fair, though, going full right and that one hellway there, that's just not fun.
Yeah. Nathicana having trouble with dead rocks, which quite frankly irritate the heck out of me every time. And so finally finishes.
Get your GGs in chat. Crossing the bridge in second place on this seed. Official time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 36 seconds. That will give Team FROMPS time yet another victory here in week 1 of Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. Looks like with that finish from both of our runners on FROMPS time, the two runners on Ganon is Sus. Decide to take a quick FF here. So get your GGs in chat for all 4 of our runners here today, putting on quite a good show for us here.
YouTube.
And we are joined by Scarlet and So. GG's and congratulations on your win.
GG,
Thanks.
So, thoughts on the seed?
We're pretty happy with the win, but we're absolutely not satisfied with our gameplay. We've made a huge bunch of mistakes. Scarlet died on Moth. I made such dumb mistakes on Ice Palace and Ganon's Tower. But overall,
yeah, the key forgetting that's a normal thing. A lot of people do that.
But overall, a pretty nice seed with our routing. But we were talking with Blue and Nath on race time, so Nath's still learning the game. So it's a pretty rough seed for someone who's starting.
Definitely.
Yep.
No, yeah, but they looked like they were doing fairly well despite that, actually.
Yeah.
The idea after a while was I'll do all the checks, you just work on catching up, and I'll tell you where all the goodies are to make it a little easier.
Yep.
Since 3 of those words were out of logic pretty early. And
we didn't check any of them.
Yeah, one was locked by the lamp for the old man. One was locked by Fire Rod for Dark Cross, and the other one was locked by Flippers at the waterfall. Yeah. And so just broke all the logic.
Yeah, so that was we routed pretty neatly. We got lucky on hookshot too when I went to the Dark Death Mountain, since I can hover. So I told Scarlet when she found me to you do Smith Chains and go to Mire area deserts, and I will go to mountain just to check hookshot cave, since it's more valuable for me to go to Dark Death Mountain. And suddenly I stumble on hookshot there. So okay.
Yeah, we pretty much last checked that one as well, because I was like, I don't want to go there for just like Super Bunny and one hookshot cave check. I'll do the other stuff first, and all of it was just empty.
Yeah. For the Ganon necessity and Blue, it looked like a lot of decisions you made were just fine. It's just they happened to be wrong for this seed. A lot of stuff seemed to not go y'all's way.
Yeah, and then combine that with the fact that Nath got stuck in catch-up mode, so it's just like... we knew we lost the seed, but we were laughing hysterically the whole time because we were still having fun.
See, now that's the main part. As long as we're having fun, it doesn't matter too much. But the logic for the seed was also not very nice, requiring the cane from Ice Palace in the big chest, and then the bow in Turtle Rock. So that was just not very nice at all.
Yeah, and lamp on the back of Swamp Palace, making you have to dip for mountain to manage to go there. So, but oh well. The main thing on the playing the league is to have fun. That's the most important thing after all.
Yep. Just out of curiosity, Scarlet, what did you think about the seed?
Honestly, at the start I was like, oh come on, how can Kakariko have nothing? Like, we had the boots and the don't remember the other thing, the mirror, I think. Yeah, we had the boots and the mirror, and I was like, oh, okay, where is everything? Then I was thinking, oh, race game must have an item, like, so I will go directly there without looking down, and was like another half piece, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
and I was thinking, okay, what we gonna do? And I was thinking, okay, since Hyrule Castle is better to do with bombs, I will go to Hyrule Castle to do with bombs, and you go to South Shore. And then I found what was there?
Ice Rod was there.
Ice Rod. I found out Ice Rod, and I was like, oh.
What am I gonna
Okay.
do with this?
I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna do the Dark Cross, I don't know. And then just say, oh, I found a sword. Then I bail out and went to Eastern. And Eastern had everything, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
We
Fluke
had-
followed by Hammer. The entire Dark Mountain package basically was right there.
And then we went to the mountain, and Paradox was useless to start. But we had the Moon Pearl on Hera and on where was
The glove was on the mirror spot, just outside.
Spectral Rock.
Right, the glove
Yeah, I
was
was
there,
like,
and then mitts were over in Thieves Town. So that's where you had to go next, I think.
Yeah, so since we had fairly early Dark World, we went really early. I just gotta catch the Fire Rods and the Master Sword on Dark Cross, and we went fairly early.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, things seem to go pretty smoothly for y'all. Again, it's it's whatever decisions you make. If they happen to be the right ones, great. But yeah, it looks like just things didn't quite go right for Ganon and Sus on this one.
Quite the opposite.
Honestly, it did seem to go that way.
We both died in Thieves Town because we went to Dark World like shortly after that glove, and neither of us had a sword, and we both died halfway through. So I was like, well, we'll go back later. And everywhere else had nothing until we finished Desert, or went through the front of Desert, got the flippers to get our first sword. So we were missing the mitts for a long time.
Yep. So, Spy, did you have any questions?
No, I think at this point that kind of covers all of it, I believe. Like you've kind of been saying, it kind of went right for FROMPS time, and unfortunately for Ganon and Sus, it's just like, but I mean, Rando gonna be Rando, right?
We tried.
Yep, no, it really did just look like the decisions just happened to be wrong, even though they were just fine. So I think we can wrap this up. Well done. FROMPS time for the double victory, and again, it's us. Just didn't work out this time.
Yeah, GG's a blue.
Good game, guys.
On the following weeks.
And by all means, Nathicana did a very good job. So definitely encourage them to keep trying hard.
Yeah. So right before COVID started, we were going to start like a weekly thing where we do a seed together, and I just kind of like help teach him more. That kind of went off the radar, so we're getting back into that. He has a capture card to use, and he can stream, and we can get back into teaching all the nuances.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm glad you all had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had.
That is definitely the big thing. Having fun.
Yes.
And looks like that is our last actual scheduled stream of a week 1 match. We got week 2 coming at you starting tomorrow. The scheduled races are up on the screen for you now. Week 2 is open 7 of 7 defeat Ganon. What you'd see as I guess you could say typical seed or mode you'd see most people run. That is going to be 1 runner versus 1 runner from each team for this next week.
Yep, it will be just, I believe that's straight up open.
That is correct. Looks like tomorrow at 4:10 we'll have Fortifiers Are Us versus Old Swagga Jackson. That'll be Dataplat versus Walther. And then at 6:10, the 2019 Titans Mints of 2019 against We're the Imposters. That's Dante versus Waterloo. On the other side, in the open, we got a few more matches there for you as well to take a look on down. Looks like we have 1 possibly scheduled for a restream right now. Boomer Friendly against Will Pulped for Food. Leviticus versus Hacksaw. That looks to be at 8:10 p.m. As always, keep your eyes on the schedules. There is always going to be more popping up as the day goes on, and if you want to keep watching yourself some rando, Be sure to follow all of these channels here, the Speed Gaming channels, Link to the Past Randomizer League channels. They'll let you know when they're going live with some more Link to the Past Randomizer.
Yes, be sure to follow the runners, and thank you for our trackers, Professor Pixie, New Yorker's wife, and as well as our restreamer, Math Girl. And thank you, Spy Weaver, for the comms.
Oh, anytime, and thank you yourself as well, man, Sunshine, for putting up with me and the sometimes ill-timed and possibly bad puns, but it comes with the territory.
I am just fine with puns, no problem there.
But I believe that will do it for us. Like Old Man Sunshine said, big shout outs to our trackers as well as our restreamers, keeping us on task, keep doing all the hard work behind the scenes. Don't often get enough love for the hard jobs that they have and the work that they put in. So be sure to always give them some love as well. That'll do it for us today. Thanks for joining us here. We'll catch you next time for another Link to the Past Randomizer League matchup.
GG's and thanks, everyone.